Chris from Redmen TV, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm all right, Matt. Thank you very much for having me.
That's not a problem. It's good to see you again. Now, Wolves face off against Liverpool on Sunday. It's going to be a really tough fixture for Wolves. Liverpool have got a few injury problems. Do you think now is the best time to play Liverpool, if ever there was a best time?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. We've got about 15 players out now. We've got about 9 players out at the moment. Not to like, bore all the Wolves fans or anything here, Matt. But we've got the best goalkeeper in the world out, or one of the best goalkeepers in the world out, one of the best right backs in the world out, one of the best centre backs in the world out, one of the England's best centre backs out, Andy Robertson, Scotland captain, one of the best left backs in Europe, picked up a bit of a knock, should be in the game. Thiago, well, whatever. I mean, one of the best playmakers in the world. The list just goes on, mate, and it's ridiculous. It's actually laughable how many injuries we've had. And then you've got lads like Shaqiri and Keita, and they're all out, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, they're all out as well, and it's Milner gone. It's just mental, mate. We've just got so many injuries. So yeah, it is a good time, and we've had loads of games. But the one thing that might hurt Wolves is that we're gonna have a week off after this because we've got Midtjylland in the Champions League and we've qualified, so we can kind of put all our eggs into the Wolves basket, as it were, and just go once more into the bridge, my friends. Go in and give it your all for 90 minutes because you're gonna get a week off.
Yeah, I mean, you've had massive injury concern, as you just alluded to then. Are you happy with the start to the season that you've made? I suppose, given the circumstances, you should be fairly content.
Yeah, I mean, look, people react to losses and draws in different ways, don't they? I'm always a bit of a glasses half full kind of a guy, and so for us to be sort of qualified top of our Champions League group, we've avoided Bayern Munich. That was the first thing that we needed to do. That was the one side that I'm really concerned about. So we've done that, and we're joint top of the Premier League going into this fixture with all of those injury concerns. I think that's pretty good, to be honest with you. I think Klopp's done an incredible job. I think the team is falling apart at the moment, and there are loads of fans who are really, really worried about the pile-up of injuries and what happens to the likes of Gini Wijnaldum, who's played just every game of football in the Premier League for us so far. In 6 months, what happens to him? The question marks will be and stuff like that. What we need to do is get the eye rate down below 1. You know what I mean? So just stop getting more people injured than we're getting in. Just get them back before we get more injured. And I think, the vaccine's just around the corner and all that, Matt. I think we can get that eye rate down below 1, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, the last 2 times that we've met, they've been very closely contested matches. I remember being at Molineux for the game, and that sickening Firmino goal late on. I thought we more than matched Liverpool side, who took the league by storm, no questions about it. But heading into this game, how do you feel about your chances, and do you think there's any certain particular players or Wolves' system that worries you?
I don't like playing Wolves normally when they've been playing the 3 at the back, and I think it's born out of the fact that I know we've had some decent results against you. I know you've won games as well, but you always seem to be up for it against the big sides. And Nuno, although he plays a 3 at the back, and although lots of teams play 3 at the back now, I never feel like we struggle with other teams in a 3 at the back like we struggle with Wolves. It just seems to be so well drilled, and they've been doing it for so long, and they do it so differently, in a subtle way to other teams, that we've always struggled a little bit against them. And they're always going to be committed. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about watching Wolves, is they're just going to give you 110%, and then you've got the likes of Adama Traore, who in the 2 games last year against us was just unplayable at times. I'm not sure whether he started the season, Matt, quite like that for you. He's not really been in the side, has he? But no. If we see Adama Traore, the one that we saw last season, then he was ripping our players left, right and centre, wasn't he? As he was the league, to be fair. So, yeah, I always fear Wolves, but I don't know what to expect with the 4 at the back. I've not watched the full 90 minutes of you playing the 4 at the back, to be fair.
Yeah, well, we only played 2 games in it, and it's been a little bit shaky. We've looked much better on the front foot. But you mentioned Adama Traore there on his day, absolutely unplayable. And you were linked quite a lot of him last season, but you ended up with the other wide forward in Diogo Jota. How's he settled in? I know he's become quite a bit of a fan favourite already in Merseyside. Yeah. Well, the red half of Merseyside anyway.
He's ridiculous, mate. It's just like... So whenever I saw him for Wolves, I always just thought he was a lad who kind of just arrived late into the box and the ball would be played across and he'd just be there in the 6-yard box to tap it in. That's what I always got the impression of him, that it was. Now, he's got more to his game than that, and I'm not saying that's all he did for Wolves, just from what I'd seen of Wolves. I don't watch Wolves every week, wouldn't pretend to. So yeah, he's got a lot to his game. Like he's a pressing monster for a start. He just seems to have hit the ground running, and I think that's when you're a striker, that's what you need to do, don't you? You know, you see lads go to teams, and you know Peter Crouch didn't score for years. It felt like for us, and it was a massive struggle when he first came to us. But he got a goal, and then he got another goal, and it just seems to, like, I'm sure he'll have a little dip. I'm sure he will, but right now he is absolutely on fire and looks just as good as the other lads that he's up against in that front three.
Well, we said on your game preview that there's always this kind of conversation around transfers that there's a winner and a loser, but like you said, it seems like the deal has been sweet for both clubs.
That's what it makes sense to me. You know, everyone always thinks, oh, you know, they ripped them off or this and that and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, you got 40 million for a lad who was a bit par player. I know he scored a lot of goals, but he was sat on the bench at the end. Yeah. That's good value for money. If Liverpool got 40 million for someone who sits on the bench, I'd be made up. You know, and you know, if he's not going to go and kick on and he's not going to get those opportunities at Wolves, then it's a good move for the player. If he's doing well at Liverpool, it's a good move for Liverpool. And if you've got loads of money in your arse pocket and he wasn't playing, then it's a good move for Wolves, isn't it? You know, the gutting thing at the moment is obviously with the Jimenez injury and all that type of stuff, you probably have needed him more than the money. You know what I mean? But that's just part and parcel of footy, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. And our skipper is a Scouser. Well, he's a bit of a wally from St Helens, isn't he? But how is Coady still received?
We love him, mate. We love him because I don't think anyone really thought he was going to make it at Liverpool. Not when he first started to sort of get a little bit game time and get into the squad and stuff. But to see someone go on and do something in the league, go and captain a side in the league who's from Liverpool, you can't help but feel proud of that. Like, you know, going back a few more years, me and Paul went to the same school as Kev Nolan, and Kev Nolan was in the year above us in school. Obviously, you know, ended up playing for England, did a great job at Bolton. He's the assistant manager at West Ham now and stuff like that. And you can't help but feel it doesn't matter who they are or who they support or who they've played for. If they're from Liverpool, you want to support them, you want to see them do well, don't you? I mean, it'd be exactly the same if you saw someone from your hometown or near you getting into the league. So for us, and then now you realise how good a player he was. And that's the other thing, you know, you know, I'm 37 now. I've seen quite a bit of footy over the years and stuff, and I kind of just, the more and more I watch, the more I realise that, you know, there's not much between these top players, whether it's Conor Coady or Virgil van Dijk, but what it could be is just something that's happened during the career that's put them on that path to succeed. And for me anyway, you know, it's minute, the difference, and some of it might just be how tall you are or how fast you are, which you can't control. But if you get into a good situation in a football club, one that suits you at the right time with the right manager around you, you can do really well. You can be a brilliant player, but if you go into a wrong situation, I don't think it works. Conor Coady and Wolves looks to me like a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. He's adored by Wolves fans, and I think Nuno really values his leadership qualities and his technical ability now. Like you said, he has grown and developed. But finally, before I let you go, Chris, I'm going to ask you to put your neck on the line and give us a score prediction.
I don't know. I think having the fans back in at Anfield, I know there's only going to be a couple of thousand, but I think Liverpool put in a big performance because of that. So I'm going to go 2 or 3-0 to Liverpool.
Fair enough. And where can people find you? Should they wish?
Redmen TV on YouTube. We'll be doing a live show. It'll be completely biased and skewed towards Liverpool, so I wouldn't recommend it for Wolves fans. But like, if you're getting beat and you're not being dickheads, come in and give us some shit. That's fair, isn't it? If we're getting beat, yeah. feel free to come in. Do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? Because if you ever do a live show during the game or a watch along and stuff, like some of the rival fans are terrible, but the nice ones are really nice, and it sounds, you know what I mean? Like we get Manx coming in all the time when Liverpool are losing. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're crap. Are you coming in? And I'm like that to them. Yeah, lads, do us a favour. We've got a Champions range of merch there. Go and buy some Champions merch. I think we're the only fan channel actually on YouTube who's got a range of Champions merch, and then they sue, fuck off. Not heads.
Perfect, mate. Well, Chris, thanks for your time, mate. I'd say all the best for Sunday, but I hope we beat you. And yeah, thanks again.
Love it, mate. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Cheers, mate.